Welcome back for another video. Gameweek 34 up next. Although it's a blank game week, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You can still make bigger gains in a blank. Lots of free hits active among the top all-time managers this week, but there's many not using a chip as well. So let's go through what the best managers around the world are doing and the experts team. It was an absolutely monster double in the top all-time managers league. Andrew Moore finished on 134 points and he's moved up to 84th in the world, sitting top of the league. After a big week, there's now 23 participants in this series that are currently top 10k, 23, and there's 57 in the top 50k. Ahead of Gameweek 34, 14% are going to roll, 12% are making one transfer, 8% are making two. So those are the managers not on a free hit this week, 34% aren't. So 2/3 have got the free hit active. So which players are they targeting? Which fixtures are they targeting? Here's the Gameweek 33 most bought players list. And at the very top, it's Bowen with 61%. 18 goal involvements this season, 8 goals, 10 assists. 159 points places him as the 4th top scoring forward over the season. He's on penalty duties. He's got Everton home. His underlying data actually hasn't been that promising, honestly. 10.06 non-pen XGI this season. But it has been a difficult campaign for West Ham, and he's still a top pick, all things considered. So yeah, he's the consensus forward on the free hits. The second forward is more divided. It's Slanky with 36%, Watkins 31%, a couple of other names not on the top list, Thiago 12%, Isak 8%. I mean, Solanke is a completely fixture pick, isn't he? Like, he's missed a lot of games, but even if we look at per 90 stats, just to kind of level out all the players in their different minutes, 0.25 XGI per 90 for Solanke ranks 44th out of 50 strikers that have played at least 10 games. He too has got a fair chance of being on pens for Spurs, but yeah, ultimately he faces rock bottom and relegated Wolves, so it is a fixture of potential for Spurs, who are fighting for survival. Pedro Porro is being bought by 47%. If we do the same comparison to other defenders that have played at least 10 games, 0.16 XGI per 90, and that places him 26th out of 142 defenders, so a lot better. 0.16 XGI non-pen per 90 is just ahead of Hull, Kadioglu, Gabriel, Justin and Cash. Data mentioned there is from my scout tables. There's a link below to get 50% off to take you through the final month or so of the season. So running through the rest of the names on the list, Salah 57%, Gabriel and Raya 54%, Van Dijk and Bruno 49%, Cunha 33%, and then we've got Watkins, Mavropanos, Kinski, Rice, Mukiele and Wilson. The most transferred out list is specifically those not on a free hit, just to avoid confusing our data. Many of those that aren't free hitting planning to wildcard in Gameweek 35, which does open the door to a lot of fun one-week punts from the most bought list here. Bowen and Solanke are the two names popping up the most that the non-free hitters are buying this week. Liverpool are actually top for both clean sheet and goal scoring odds this week. 40% clean sheet, 2.3 projected goals, so they are worth our consideration all round. The only thing is, no Liverpool attackers pulled up roots, have they, this season? Like Salah, Gakpo, Zobo, Verts, they're all okay. Isak's not ready to play 90, but again on a free hit or a one-week punt before the wild card could be okay. Given Ekatike's injury, that could benefit Gakpo's minutes because he can move up top when Isak comes off, and then Ngumoa goes left wing. An assist in his last 2 games for Gakpo. And then next on the clean sheet odds, we've got Arsenal, then Spurs, Forest, Man United and West Ham. I mean, West Ham also fighting for their lives, aren't they? And Mavropanos has produced some fantastic returns recently. His last 4 games, his points are 6, 21, 3 and 12, 3 goals in 4 games. Over the last 6 game weeks, he's 4th in the league among defenders for expected goal involvement, 1.58 XGI. Most of that XG as well, 7 shots and 6. So it's a big free hit week, there's no other chips active, 23% still have the wildcard. If you've still got yours, Gameweek 35's experts video next week will be a wildcard special, so make sure you subscribe for that. Only 35% will still have the bench boost after this week, which is likely to get used in Gameweek 36, failing that 37. I wouldn't recommend a Gameweek 38 bench boost. The rotation in 38 is always so unpredictable, particularly for the teams with nothing left to play for. Objectives Matt has got his free hit active. He's finished 3.7k and 1.7k in the last 4 seasons. On top of that, as I say, his free hits active and he's currently 3.2k, so he's on track for a really good finish again. His team on the free hit is Raya, Pedro Porro, Mavropanos, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Bruno, Casemiro, Rice, Salah, Gakpo and Bowen 4-5-1. Coming off a solid bench boost in Game Week 33, this free hit is really about finishing the chip strategy strong after wildcard 32. The aim here isn't to get too clever. It's time to back the fixture, trust good teams and lean into where points are predictable but still sprinkle in some differential. I've definitely prioritised defence this week. I'm back to doubling up on Arsenal with Raya and Gabriel as I trust them at home. Newcastle are off form and surely a Gabriel bullet header is due. Alongside them, Virgil, Pedro Porro and Mavropanos, all hoping to be a route into clean sheet points with some attacking upside and maybe even a defcon. Midfield is where I've taken a couple of calculated decisions. Salah is an easy pick due to an uptick in form as well as giving him one last hurrah. Rice comes back in as the reliable Arsenal attack option. And Casemiro is in as a differential over the likes of Cunha, who is tempting, but also a small injury concern there. And I'd rather go for someone nailed with potential for returns and a good fixture, even if it's a bit left field. I've also gone for Gakpo as a bit of a punt. He's not as obvious as pick compared to players like Wirtz or Zobo, but I like the upside of his starts, especially doubling up on Liverpool attack. You'll notice no Spurs attack, and that's partly bias, I'll admit, but also I think Wolves will play with a bit more freedom, which makes me less confident in their prospects. Up front it's Bowen on his own. There just aren't many standout striker options this week. Isak and Gyökeres interest me, but they don't quite have the proven consistency that I'm looking for here. Finally, old reliable Bruno as captain. Assists record building and penalties to boot. Good luck everyone, only 5 more game weeks to make it count. Thanks very much Matt, and good luck with the chip and finishing the season strong. Captaincy, another short and sweet slide this week. Bruno gets 97% of the captain armbands among the top all-timers and Salah just 3%. Man United playing Brentford home as he hunts down the assists record. And Salah, he does have Palace home, who obviously have one eye on Europa. He's the massive upside pick, but he's not produced more than 10 points in a game week all season. He's done 10 twice. Bruno, on the other hand, has scored 10 or more points 11 times. Moving on to the experts team for Game Week 34, it's Raya in goal. In defence it's Van Dijk, Porro and Gabriel. The midfield 5 is Salah, Cunha, Rice, Wilson and Bruno, and then Solanke and Bowen up front. And on the bench it's Kinski, Mavropanos, Heaven and Mane. How many players have you got from the team this week? The midfielders are super close this week. It really is worth emphasising that again. Like if you're on a free hit, looking at FPL Review's projections for the week, there's so little between Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Xavi Simons if he gets 80 minutes or more, Wilson and Dye, Gibbs White and so on. And it's the same story with the forwards, Watkins, Thiago, Isak, Bowen, Solanke, they're all super tight together. So if you've got any of those that aren't in the experts team, it really doesn't matter. Final thoughts and tips then, here's what the experts wanted to say to you. FPL Magnum says, I'm looking to bounce back after a tough week on the wildcard last week, watching all of the bench boost teams really cash in. I'm free hitting this week and I'm trying to catch a few hauls from the likes of Salah, Gyökeres, Cunha and Watkins, players that I normally wouldn't be going near. I'm also hoping to avoid any injuries, as my current plan is to bench boost next week and hopefully regain some of the lost ground from last week and jump up from my current rank of 155k and snatch a top 100k or even 50k rank for the season. Come on the experts. Damien says, I'm on the free hit 33 strategy, so I'm not using the chip this week. Quite comfortable with my team as I've got 11 players with a fixture. Gordon looks likely to miss out, so I'll use a transfer to bring in probably a Liverpool midfielder as I've got no attacking coverage and they look to perhaps have the best fixture with Palace having one eye in Europa. Which one is the question? I'm currently on Szoboszlai, which looks the safe option, but I'm not ruling out Gakpo or Wirtz. Salah unaffordable. Another Man United midfielder would be another option, but a similar problem with choosing between them. Like having Bruno ready is probably enough. Gibbs White looks to be the form player in midfield, but Sunderland away is not easy and I'll be starting Mukiele, so I don't like having attackers against defenders that I own, or vice versa, as it limits your ceiling for the week. I'll move Semenyo out for the week as he definitely misses out. Gordon can take a bench spot and come in if there are surprise omissions and he does manage to play. El Fady says, a key week coming up. Not only do we have free hit versus non-free hit, but the FA Cup semis should hopefully lead to some clarity on the remaining doubles. I'm pretty happy with my team and I think it covers around 7 or 8 of what a free hit team will look like, without any obvious high effective ownership players lacking. In a perfect world, I would make a transfer, but I'll still likely try and roll for the extra flexibility in Game Week 35, 36 and 37. Whilst my best case is wildcard 35, bench boost 36, I also have an eye on wildcard 36, bench boost 37. The bench boost is going to be full of single game week players no matter when I play it, so it's not married to game week 36. And 37 might have better fixtures for it. Playing the wildcard 36 might also be handy, as you can leave picking your doublers to the very last moment. If we hear that the Bournemouth versus City game is coming forward to 36, and Man City versus Palace goes into 37 as a double, then I think wildcard 35, bench boost 36 becomes the obvious choice, as you'd have a problem with Bournemouth players on the wildcard 36, bench boost 37 strategy. You'd have 3 for the double in 36, but to be trying to bench boost in 37 with them blanking, it would take at least 3 transfers to pull off. There is a small chance that I make a transfer this week, as it would be for someone that has good fixtures this week and next week, but I'd want to cover the scenario that I don't wildcard till game week 36. The obvious candidate is a Sunderland defender, as they play Forest and then Wolves. However, I think I'd rather roll. If I wildcard in 35, then I've saved a transfer. If I don't, then I'd rather use that transfer in 35 itself to cover Leeds versus Burnley. A fixture, game week 32 teams will have 3 players in. Thanks very much for watching, guys. It is a Friday deadline this week, so I'll be live in the afternoon, 4:30 PM UK time. I'll see you then as we lock in the final 3-hit team.